Hey guys, this is Austin, and today I'm here with a review of the Nokia Lumia 920. With Windows Phone 8, a unique build, and one of the best smartphone cameras out there, let's take a look. Pop open the box, and inside you'll see the phone itself and a tool to eject your microSIM. Dig a little deeper, and you'll find an NFC demo tag, extremely boring safety info, a quick start guide, and a little smart setup guide. Lastly, you'll find a micro USB cable for charging and syncing, along with a USB wall adapter to juice the phone up. It won't take you long to see the Lumia sticks out from other smartphones in a big way. Decked out in a glossy yellow finish, there's no doubt it's unique and I'm a big fan of how it looks. Of course, if you want something a bit more tame, it's available in other much more boring colors including black. The Lumia is also a very big phone at 10.7mm thick and weighing in at almost 50% more than the Galaxy S3. The overall size is quite large as well, with a footprint roughly on par with the Nexus 4 but with a smaller screen. All of that said, I actually really didn't mind the added heft as it reminded me of the old indestructible Nokias with excellent build quality. The body is a single piece of polycarbonate, aka plastic, and as it's colored all the way through, you don't have to worry about scratches removing the finish. Up front, you'll find the 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, which is capable of 720p video in your speaker grill, and below are the capacitive back, windows, and search keys. For some reason, the screen and buttons are offset quite a bit from the bottom of the phone, making the entire front appear off-center. Up top is the headphone jack and micro SIM slot, and on the right side is the volume rocker, sleep button, and the dedicated camera key, which is nice to see. On bottom is your micro USB port for charging and syncing, along with a very impressive speaker. This is by far one of the loudest speakers I've heard on a phone in quite a while, delivering enough volume to fill a decently sized room with music. Finally, on back you'll see the 8.7 megapixel camera and LED flash, which I'll get into in a minute. It's also compatible with the Qi wireless charging standard, and AT&T is bundling a free wireless charger with the Lumia right now. The screen is a 4.5-inch IPS panel with a resolution of 1280 by 768, making it slightly wider than normal 720p phones and a huge step up from older Windows phones. It is a bit smaller than the 4.7 and 5-inch screens on most smartphones today, but you aren't losing out on too much, and it makes up for it with 332 pixels per inch. The display itself is very nice with good black levels and decent saturation, both of which are important with the live tiles on Windows Phone. The star of the show here is definitely Windows Phone 8. Just like the Lumia itself, it's a very different experience than your average smartphone, and it's easily one of the sleekest and smoothest UIs out there. The home screen is all about live tiles, which do double duty as app icons and an added glance bit of info, for example a missed call or a new tweet. You can also resize the tiles and rearrange them as much as you'd like. Just like Windows 8, you can customize the colors of the entire OS, but beyond that, what you see is basically what you get. This is definitely not a phone for people who really like to customize. As a Windows phone, you'll find integration with SkyDrive, Office, and Xbox Live. Office is included and is decent for viewing or editing a Word or Excel doc on the go, but not much more than that. Gaming was originally supposed to be a strong suit of Windows phones, as you can connect your Xbox Live gamer tag and get achievements from mobile games, but the selection is lacking. You'll find a few games like Angry Birds and Final Fantasy, but overall there really isn't much in the store right now. App support is a little better. You can find an app to do most things, but a lot of what you'll find is really lacking in quality. The Google app isn't bad if you want to avoid using Bing, but it hasn't been updated in nearly 8 months. The Twitter app is just terrible with constant crashes, however, and the list goes on. That's not to say some apps aren't great. Amazingly enough, Internet Explorer really isn't bad. Just like the rest of Windows Phone, it's buttery smooth most of the time, and is one of the fastest mobile browsers out there. SunSpider is a great example of this. It notches a score which is able to clear the iPhone 5 and Nexus 4. You'll run into occasional issues with fonts not rendering properly, but overall it's a really nice browser. I don't want to give the wrong impression here. Windows Phone 8 is a major step forward, and in some ways surpasses both iOS and Android. The big issue is the lack of apps, which hopefully will improve now that Windows Phone and Windows 8 share a lot of DNA, but right now it's far behind its main rivals. The camera, on the other hand, is the best you'll find on a modern smartphone period. With 8.7 megapixels and an LED flash to work with, it might not seem too great on paper, but it has one major advantage: optical image stabilization. With tiny springs inside the lens to keep it steady, this allows the Lumia to deliver spectacular low light performance. Comparing it to the iPhone 5 and Nexus 4, you can see there's really no contest. It pulls in images better than some point-and-shoots. In normal daylight, the images are quite nice as well, although not a huge improvement over ordinary smartphones. That optical image stabilization makes a big difference for video. So I'm walking around on some pretty uneven ground here, and yet the camera keeps it nice and smooth. In fact, I'll go ahead and bring it down here for you guys. You can see that 1080p video looks really nice on the Lumia 920. Inside, you'll find the Lumia 920 is powered by a 1.5 GHz Snapdragon S4 dual-core processor and 1 GB of RAM. Windows Phone has always been fast, and this does a great job of making sure the phone stays incredibly smooth. The Snapdragon S4 is starting to show its age as the S4 Pro has been released, but it's still an entirely competent performer. Impressively, the phone includes 32 GB of storage, which is generous considering the price. Call quality is quite good on the AT&T network, and with LTE on board, if you have it in your area, you can expect impressive speeds. Unfortunately, it hasn't rolled out here yet, so I did my testing on HSPA+, which can give you reasonable speeds above 5 megabits per second. Battery life was good enough in my testing, delivering enough juice to make it through a day of moderate use thanks to the 2000 mAh battery. The Nokia Lumia 920 is easily one of the most unique phones out there, definitely in a good way. It looks and feels like nothing else, and Windows Phone 8 finally delivers modern specs including a dual-core processor and HD screen. It's incredibly smooth and the camera is stellar, but app support is severely lacking and it is a big, heavy phone. It's not going to be for everyone, but for only $99 you could do much, much worse than the Lumia 920. You can check out more reviews of high-end phones here, and if you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one.